Welcome to the much needed Minecraft Bedrock update 1.20.10. This update has just started to roll out for Minecraft on iOS, Android, Windows, Xbox, Switch, and PlayStation. But be patient, it can take up to 24 hours to reach everyone. Guys, there is so many changes to go through in today's video. Can we try and get 7,000 likes on today's video? I'm going to teach you everything that has changed. Message from the developers. They said a new Minecraft update is ready to play. Since releasing the Trails and Tales update, the team has been hard at work on even more improvements to the game. It does say, though, note that this update will appear as version 1.20.11 on Xbox. You can still play with people playing version 1.20.10. Getting into vanilla parity short sneaking. It does say players' hitbox height now reduced to 1.5 blocks while sneaking, which means you can now go underneath this. Now, was this previously available? If not, it was definitely an experimental toggle. So yeah, we can now 1.5 sneak and crouch exactly like Minecraft Java Edition. Now, there is a few more changes to be introduced to this feature in 1.20.20, which is still in beta form as of right now. But this is a feature a lot of players have been waiting to be introduced. It does say sneaking will automatically be initiated while stuck in a gap of less than 1.8 blocks. Sneaking will lower the player's camera height respective of these changes. So a great way to explain this is, as you guys know, I can crouch, and as you can see in the top left, I am in fact crouching. However, if you were to have your elytra on and you were to fly into this, it's automatically going to put you in this new crouching state. Moving on to the next set of changes, it says players will transition from swimming to sneaking if they are unable to stand up but would be able to sneak. Now, in case you guys don't know, you can't swim anymore in one deep water, right? Doesn't matter how many times you try, you cannot do it. However, if you were swimming in too deep like this, and you went from swimming into this new 1.5 crouching or sneaking ability, it will automatically initiate that. Players are no longer able to sneak while riding. We have a bug report. First bug report today, we do have a video. Now, when we play this, the player is automatically put in to this crouching, like sneaking state. I actually liked this, but they got rid of it. So the weird thing is, if you now get on a camel, let me just move away here, and we go into the exact same perspective and go through this, you don't kind of crouch, you kind of ghost through the blocks. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of thought the automatic, like, going down just kind of made sense. Players will no longer suffocate when short sneaking in certain scenarios. Players will no longer suffocate when riding on a camel in 2-block gaps. We have a bug report. So again, very similar to what I've just showed you. This is to do with a boat this time. So when this player goes through this, you can see they are starting to take damage when they technically shouldn't take damage. In fact, it actually pops up with the water bubbles. But there is also one here with a camel, and this is the one we'll be testing. So if you just stay stationary underneath the specific blocks, you will begin to take damage. Players will no longer be pushed slightly when short sneaking and being pushed by a block. We have a bug report. It says blocks push the player when automatically initiated to sneaking. We do have a redstone contraption here standing underneath the half slab with a sticky piston, and you can see there the player is kind of pushed to the side. We have seen bugs like this in the past. So if we stand underneath this, keep an eye above my coordinates because it will activate the sneaking ability. You can see here, I actually do not move. I'm staying right on the same spot every single time. Fixed. Many interactions where being forced into sneaking acted the same as holding the sneak button. we have a bug report. So here is the bug report right here. Bit of problem for a couple of versions. Watch this. When this person opens up the crafting table, it just opens and closes. Same with a horse. Same with a chest boat. So you know the release time of a button where obviously you press it and it's active, you let go. That was kind of the same with this. You would open this and it would close on its own. Now that doesn't happen to anybody. Moving on to the other changes. Items dropped by storage entities are now centered inside the nearest block. Shovel has been removed from the boat recipe. So for a very long time on Minecraft Bedrock Edition, this has always been the crafting recipe like this. You no longer need the shovel. Now, fun fact, this was added a long time ago, even is still available in Minecraft Console Edition. It turns out that Jeb removed it and went back to this one, but they never took it away from Console Edition. They also added it to Bedrock Edition, and as of today, you no longer need the shovel. However, the barrel recipe has been modified to use planks instead of sticks. This is a Java Parity. Previously on Minecraft Bedrock Edition, you would use sticks and slabs. Now it's planks and slabs, so it's just become a little bit more expensive. This was the previous method, no longer works, and this is your brand new method for crafting barrels, which I know a lot of people are going to get so confused with this because they've been using sticks for a very long time. Still annoys me. The cobweb to string recipe has been removed. Super triggered with this one. There was absolutely no reason for them to take this away. It was really good for challenge-based worlds, but yeah, you can no longer craft string from cobwebs on Bedrock Edition. Fixed a bug where zombie villager did not drop given item after curing. In some cases, you would give this gold, diamond, netherite armor, tools, shields, and when the zombie villager was cured, those items would disappear. That was fixed today. Moving on to experimental features. Great news. Crawling has been added, but it does say added the ability to crawl behind the short sneaking and crawling experimental toggle. Now, I kind of want to backtrack a little bit here, and I just want to test if I do have the toggle off, can I still short sneak? So brand new world, if I go into settings and we just scroll down, I don't have any of the experiments on. So if I do place these down, you will be able to see that I can short sneak. So although it does say short sneaking and crawling, well, I mean, this is no longer an experiment. So this has been pushed to full release. Meanwhile, they have added crawling to the experiments. I just got a little bit confused with that. But yeah, you don't need to have this activated now. However, they added the ability to crawl behind the short sneaking and crawling experimental toggle. So like I showed you guys before, if you go into settings when you're playing a brand new world, you are going to have this enabled. My recommendation is to do this in a brand new world, honestly, rather than your pre-existing worlds. But it does say, created new player crawling animation. I keep getting tons of comments saying, well, Bedrock already had crawling. Yes, it did, with a water bucket. But now it has the proper animation. And you can do it with a trap door, okay? So, although you guys keep telling me in the comment section we already had it, we did. Right, you're correct. However, this animation is so much better and so much smoother. It does say players will now begin crawling when in a 1 block gap, similar to sneaking. Right, so you'll notice here that the transition into this crawling animation is really, really slow. I can confirm in 1.20.20, this will change. And it's so much smoother and it's so much better. It's not this slow. But you can now do this with a trapdoor, which means you can now go as far and as wide as you wish. Also, crawling is the same speed as sneaking, but I can confirm if you do have Swift Sneak on, you can go faster. So the default speed of this is this. And it's really, really slow. If you activate the Swift Sneak leggings, check it out, man. We got the zoomies. It's so much better, especially for players who do want to strip mine for finding diamonds. So it's really, really cool. And again, you can just take this off. And then if you want to put them on a little bit faster, you can. So yeah, really cool addition. Players will automatically stand up or begin sneaking if they leave the 1 block gap. And we have a perfect example here. So if we just keep crawling here, we get to this next part. We're standing up, and then obviously you're going to have to activate it again. And this also pushes you into the 1.5 crouching ability, by the way. So yeah, that's a pretty cool addition. Players will begin swimming if they enter water while crawling, or vice versa. So if we go through here, we enter water exactly like this, we will begin to swim and we can move a little bit faster. Same if you go from swimming to the crawling animation. Again, a lot of these are like bug fixes from the latest betas and previews, so it's pretty good to see. Player's model is now centered around their hitbox when swimming. Players will now always spawn projectiles from the camera position when sneaking, swimming, or gliding. And it does say players will now spawn particle effects when eating in the correct position if they are sneaking, swimming, or gliding. And this is the exact same with loyalty tridents. So basically, because they've changed like the crouching ability, and like obviously when you crouch, it's now going to show it from this perspective. But when you crouch, it's going to be from the right place, right? The centered part. So that's normal. That's crouching. They are the exact same. Same with eating these. Change it to this perspective here. And particles as well. And same with the loyalty trident. It's right there. It's going to come straight back. And if we crouch, it's now centered on your screen. So just a basic like quality of life change. Kind of a bummer, but players will no longer get stuck inside cauldrons or composters when crawling inside with a trap door. There was a glitch / bug. If you got inside of here, you couldn't get out. Couldn't get out of a cauldron. Couldn't get out of this. They did fix it. The paper doll will now show up properly when crawling, fixed an issue where gliding or swimming could sometimes give the player an incorrect bounding box. Great news though, in 1.20.10, they have added recipe unlocking. Added recipe unlocking as an experiment. Collect materials to unlock relevant recipes. A notification will tell you when you found a new crafting material. Picking up an item teaches you how to craft that item. Great for when a friend gives you a tool you haven't crafted before. So we're going to change our game mode here, / game mode S. And I'm going to go and grab some materials here. Keep an eye on the top right of my screen. If we grab this and we change this one to a die, it's now telling me in the top right I have access to dyes. Now, the sound isn't quite as smooth as Minecraft Java because, again, that will be added in the next update. I don't know if I can make any more of these. I'm just going to keep trying to grab a couple of different ones of these because I have obviously been placing these down in my world. We'll grab that one. There's a brand new one there. I'm trying to think of what else I could grab around here. I don't think there's too much on offer. Now, one thing I do want to say here is if we go into settings, and I think it's accessibility. There is like a toast notification. So you can change these and they will affect the time. It's all to do with the toast notification. So you can change it to 10 or 30. By default, it's 3. I think in the next update, they changed it to 10. I can't fully remember, but one of these has changed. But if you want the notification to stay on screen longer, you can change it yourself. There you go. I gave myself a diamond. It's telling me everything I can unlock with a diamond. Now, what I will do is I'll go back into the accessibility and I'll change this to like 30 seconds. Do / give at P and we'll do nether right underscore and we'll do ingots here. You'll see the notification will actually stay on screen for 10 seconds rather than 3. Honestly, I think 10 seconds is much better. I think 3 is way too fast. But again, in order to get access to this, you are going to have to turn on the experimental toggles. It's a recipe one. It's this one right here. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but it's still being worked on. Everybody's favorite fixes and changes. Starting with general. Fixed the communication error message appearing when leaving a local network game as the host on Nintendo Switch. Reduced cases where players might see unable to connect errors due to expired auth from discovery. We have a bug report. Ignored the magma cube. It'll make sense in a minute. So here is the bug report. It's been an ongoing issue just for a couple of weeks now, and it's only affected these versions. Moving on to gameplay fixes and changes. Camera position is now used for audio system listening and ambient sounds. Previously, the player position and rotation was sometimes used for audio listening. This effectively flips audio panning when using third-person front camera perspective. Moving on to mobs. Farmer villagers will now interact with torchflower seeds and pitcher pods. They can pick up the seeds and plant them, but they will not harvest the torchflower or pitcher crop. That's why we got a couple of villagers here. They're basically waiting, but these guys can now actually plant these for you. And the best thing is, unlike any other kind of food in Minecraft, whether it be regular seeds, beetroot seeds, they won't steal them, bro. As you can see, he's planting them down. When they are fully growing, they will not harvest them. I really like this. So yeah, villagers just got a little bit cooler. The sound played when a camel is dashing is no longer played repeatedly. Fixed issue with jump boost effect not affecting magma cubes. We have a bug report. So apparently, if you were to run this command on a magma cube, it actually had no effect at all. Apparently, this was reported back in 2019 and was finally updated today. And that is why I have this magma cube over there. So if I was to do /summon and we do a magma cube and I run this specific command right here, the jump boost now affects him. So yeah, people are probably super confused before. Fixed boats on ice disappearing when client-side chunk generation was enabled. This used to be a problem for all players, and then it became an issue for client-side chunk generation. That was fixed. Mobs are now back to normal despawn rates during night. We have a bug report. 30-second despawn immunity is broken again. This was an old bug that did return, and this person is just showing you the spawning and despawning situation with specific mobs. So we have skeletons, spiders, and we have zombies, and you'll notice as time keeps going, they just completely disappear. This should not be happening. That was fixed today. So if you did have mob farms that were more active at nighttime, they should work a lot better. Camels now play a walking animation when taking damage while standing still. Sniffer can no longer dig up seeds in the air. Mobs no longer continue to freeze without powdered snow if there is a powdered snow block near the west and the north side. Really strange bug, but it was fixed today. Are you okay? It's always someone that wants to ruin today's video. Moving on to blocks, fixes, and changes. Polished basalt and chiseled deep slate can no longer be replaced by Sculk during world generation. However, polished deep slate can now be replaced by Sculk during world generation. We have a bug report. Sculk patches don't replace polished deep slate upon world gen inside ancient cities. Reported pretty much 1 year ago, affects all of these versions, and you can see how the world generation is right here. That has finally been fixed. Decorated pots crafted with at least one sherd now have a hover tooltip displaying the sherd and brick ingredients. So if we grab this real quick, you can see there, it says item name, item name, item name, item name. That gets fixed next update, by the way, so do not worry about that. Previously, it wouldn't display anything at all. You can see now the decorated pot. If it does have one shard still for English text language, it says decorated pot item, angular pottery shard. Then it says the next item, which is brick, brick, brick. I think this gets removed in the next update. Players without permission to open/close containers can no longer interact with chiseled bookshelves. The correct sound effect is now played when removing an enchanted book from a chiseled bookshelf. We have a bug report. So on Bedrock Edition, this is how it has sounded. Sounds like a regular book. Meanwhile, on Java Edition, this is what it sounded like. I am going to be totally honest with you. I had no idea enchanted books did that, but listen. It's now been fixed and improved and does like a chime sound. Chiseled bookshelf slot interactions are now symmetrical. We have a bug report. Chiseled bookshelf slot interactions aren't symmetrical. This was the Bedrock version where it's chunky, thin, and thin. And on Java, it was actually quite even. Cauldron water texture is now the correct version. Note block on top of soul soil now produces the harp sound instead of the snare sound. Sounds like this. Shovel can no longer mine packed mud as fast as a pickaxe. So let's do a little bit of a test here. / game mode S. So if we mine this, that's definitely slower versus doing it with a pickaxe. Previously, your shovels were pretty OP. Placing blocks on top snow and tall grass while moving side to side will no longer cause them to stack up continuously. Suspicious gravel and suspicious sand blocks now display correctly on maps. So if we just grab these, for example, place that there, grab ourselves a map, and activate this, and just slightly, well, you can see it right behind us there. So it now displays correctly. Great news. Mushrooms are now able to spawn on fallen tree trunks again. So you can find these. Previously, it was slightly bugged. Along with Conduit now has the correct lighting when placed on the ground. Moving on to items. Fixed black pixels being generated on maps when client-side chunk generation was enabled. Shields no longer clips inside the armor stand model while in the riposte pose. I actually don't know what pose they are referring to, but one of them actually glitched through the armor stand. That was fixed. Sculk vibrations. Let's read the changelog. There is an incredible amount of Sculk vibration changes. There was no point in me putting them all on signs, but things like charging a respawn anchor now emits vibrations. Adding food to the campfire does the same thing. Mud turning into clay. So basically, the Sculk block is going to snitch on you a lot more with certain vibration. Few changes with realms. If you have a realm, listen up. Updated the contrast ratio of the close button in realms feed menu. Also updated the contrast ratio of the new post header banner. An error message is now showing when attempting to upload a cross-platform restricted world to realms instead of uploading a corrupted world. The focus indicator no longer auto-selects the Find Friend button when the Members tab is selected. Accessibility. Improved the Xbox on-screen keyboard experience, including better positioning, updated fields with typed inputs, and no more screen dimming while on-screen keyboard is open. We have a bug report. So a lot of Xbox players haven't enjoyed this, but it does say on-screen keyboard won't move and is in front of the sign and chat. So when you're trying to type something, you couldn't exactly see what was going on. So they've actually done some quality of life changes, especially if you play on Xbox. Added a toggle to all platforms enabling extra large GUI scaling beyond what the GUI slider allows. So if we go to settings, scroll down to video, as you guys know, you can change the size of this. For me, it says -1 and 0, but we have an extra large GUI scaling, and it does say enables an extra large version of the menu interface as an additional accessibility option. This setting might cause visual glitching to appear in some screens. If you have a really, really big screen, this might mess up. Text to speech now reads item names when selecting items in the hotbar. User interface added support for detecting Brazilian Portuguese as the preferred system language on Nintendo Switch. Horse and donkey jump bar and camel dash bar now scale properly to the experience bar. Changed the pause menu disconnection text to be platform agnostic. Not sure what that changes, I'll be totally honest with you. Fixed an issue that caused the inventory to get locked up after auto placing. We have a bug report. This has been another ongoing issue since 2019. And for those of you that had this issue, they are saying it's fixed. Basically, if you tried to make multiple of the same blocks, in this instance, stone bricks, it locks it up and you can't select them. You'd have to back out and go back in. Finally fixed today. Imported worlds now get their last play data modified to the time they were imported. Reordered the gamepad tooltip for UI screens so that the buttons align with the same side as the controller. Mouse inputs, quite important changes here. Default chat duration is now set to 10 seconds, while default toast notification remains at 3, which is what we kind of talked about. Was that true? Was it default at 10? They were both 3 for me, honestly. I think that might actually be a change in the next... No, it does say default is 10. Okay, I'm wrong there. Okay, so it was that one and not this one. I think it should be both of them, in my opinion. Also improved handling of simultaneous mouse clicks, triggering each individual associated action/response. Fixed issue with unresponsive or lag inputs when using a mouse together with a controller. Text to speech now reads /button when hovering over the / button in the chat screen. Graphical fixed issue with highlighted blocks and mob shadows appearing through the pumpkin head overlay on Switch. Rendering of snow or rain is now based on the camera position instead of player position. Shields no longer flicker when held in both hands on RTX. Fixed sleep and camera fade effect, not covering the screen until after first person rendering. Underwater and fog effects are now based on camera position rather than player position. Fancy leaves settings is now applied immediately and will no longer cause X-ray effect. We have a bug report. Once again, a long time issue. Transparent leaves overlap with opaque leaves. So there was an issue where if you were looking at them, I think if you changed your graphic settings, some of them would still be bugged out and you could use this as like an X-ray ability. So many people have talked about this. So many people have reported this. Finally fixed today. Also, fixed player capes not properly flapping when moving forwards but looking sideways. They fixed it for real this time, they said, and we have a bug report. So here is the reported issue. If you were in something like a boat, yes, we've seen this gameplay so many times, and you're looking side to side, the camera flap would actually stop. Really weird bug. Finally fixed. Honestly, I'm about to try this for myself. In the boat, obviously going forward, it's flapping. Hey, it has finally been fixed. You guys know what I'm about to say. Technical updates. Let's read the changelog. There is so many technical updates. They've updated the add-on templates to 1.20, dedicated service, stability, and performance, add-ons and scripts, commands. There is a huge amount of add-on and technical changes in this version. It accounts for more than half of this changelog. Guys, if you made it this far in today's video, let me know in the comment section by saying, you know what, Echo, villagers planting these crops is a pretty good idea. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. It took me a very long time to do this one. So if you could leave a like, I really appreciate it. Make sure you update to 1.20.10. The great news is I can finally start my Let's Play. See you in the next video. Hey, you can now book me on Cameo. Link is down below.